enjoying the show. John Duggan's in the house. John, welcome.
Colm and Meghann Rachel, good morning.
Oakmont Country Club. A massive history with this company.
Yes, the US Open is sporting torture for the players, everybody involved, and it kind of makes us feel better about ourselves. I mean, remember last year, Rory McIlroy missing 2 short putts in 16 and 18 to hand the trophy to Bryson DeChambeau, and if the Masters hadn't happened, we'd probably still be reflecting on that, but that's been forgotten about given he won the career Grand Slam at Augusta in April. So Oakmont, look, it's possibly the toughest golf course in the world. Scotty Scheffler's talking about that. It's the 10th US Open there. It's a course just outside Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. It has everything that really tests a golfer. Thick rough. It's long. You need to be able to land your approaches in the right positions, and the greens are like glass. So we're all going to feel pretty comfortable in our armchairs watching this carnage, which is probably going to happen at the weekend. Now, it is forecast to rain at the weekend, which might soften it up a bit. And you have had Oakmont Opens in the past where, you know, Dustin Johnson finished on 4 under. Ernie Els, when he won in a playoff, was 5 under in regulation. But Angel Cabrera, when he won in 2007, was 5 over par. Shane Lowry's got form here from 2016. He had a 4-shot lead and a rain-delayed Open going into the final round, and then he shot 76 and Dustin Johnson won. But this course has got a rich history. Ben Hogan, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, won in 1953. Jack Nicklaus won his first ever professional tournament and a major in 1962 when he beat Arnold Palmer in a playoff, and Arnold was from the area, and Arnold was very popular, and Jack Nicklaus got a lot of stick from the crowds. I mean, we all revere Jack Nicklaus now as the Golden Bear and the great of the game, but he was nicknamed Ohio Fats. He was kind of overweight at the time, and he was seen as the villain in 1962, and it took a while for him to get into the positivity of some of the golf fans in the United States. But Jack Nicklaus won in a playoff in 62. Johnny Miller in 1973 shot 63, and he hit every single green in regulation on the final day to shoot 7 under par and win the tournament. You've had some great history at Oakmont, and hopefully a tournament now which will see contenders that are fitting for a major championship, the third of the year. But there are 156 players. There are over 150 bunkers. It's going to be exciting. You'll always get surprise players contending, and bring it on.
The weather is a paid actor at Oakmont for the US Open, because Shane Lowry spoke about the Sunday before that 2016 US Open at Oakmont CC, came back into the dressing room and says, I can't play this event. 7 days later, he's leading on that morning. Presumably the weather intervened in the meantime and helped them play.
Yeah, and even Rory McIlroy's been speaking recently about how brutal the course has been. He shot 81 there and said he didn't play too badly. Now, they're going to make, with all these things, they've got sub-air systems around the greens, so they can always mould the course based around par. Par has always been seen as the sacred thing in US Opens, but that has been challenged by the quality of the play. Brooks Koepka, Aaron Hills tore it up. Rory McIlroy shot 16 under par Congressional when he won in 2011. Last year, was it Bryson and Rory was pretty much close around par at Pinehurst. But yeah, Rory has, like, he's completed golf. So when you complete golf, what you do, he's not that happy with his driver. Tied 47th at the USPGA, missed the cut at the Canadian Open. Does he need to have a bit more? I almost feel like Rory McIlroy needs to be on a beach for a while to get the fuel going again, to have the next act, next chapter of his career. I don't know if this is going to come a bit too soon. Shane Lowry playing really well. Tied 13th at Canadian Open, 11th at FedEx Cup, a couple of second places this year. We know he likes the course. We know he's got great hands. He's 38 now. If he can keep calm, he's definitely got the tools to do it. But Scotty Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler has won 11 times since the start of last year, if you include the Olympic Games. He has won 3 of the last 4 tournaments he's played in. He won the PGA by 5 shots. He won a Memorial Tournament by 4 shots. He leads all the tee to green stats. He can be a bit streaky on the dance floor with the putter. Maybe the only thing that could help push other players into contention. But he's almost like a Tiger Woods price. He's about 3-1 this week. And then you got Bryson DeChambeau, who once again is in fine fettle, second at the PGA, 5th at the Masters when he was right there with Rory, won the tournament last year. So it'll be interesting to see the approach of some of the players. Will Bryson, he's won 2 US Opens, would he bomb and gouge it? Would he hit as far as he can? And given he's got less, I suppose, yardage to the pin, try and like chuck it out of the rough if he gets into the rough on the occasions he does, or would it be about the tidy players that are maybe not the longest hitters who plot their way around strategically? And I think you're going to have a mixture of different types of players contending.
There's some box office trios playing today, which we touched on earlier. And from an Irish perspective, would you be better off focusing your efforts and hopes more on Shane Lowry than Rory McIlroy at the moment?
What do you mean from an Irish perspective?
Well, for our interest, for the two players that we have playing for us, who's more likely out of the two to either go far, possibly win the thing?
I think I would agree. I think Shane would be more likely based on form. It's kind of counterintuitive with given Rory's won the career Grand Slam, but Rory was in a autopilot plane of amazing golf between, as he said himself, October and April, and now it's hard to sustain that. And Shane is playing consistently well all season. Like, he played really well at the Masters and just kind of blew up in the final day. Played well last week. So you'd have to, and with the course form, I mean, remember that Rory missed the cut at Oakmont in 2016. Shane, you'd have to think is actually, it's funny, poor old bridesmaid Justin Rose is the third player in the group today.
Yeah. We were wearing the Masters gear this morning, John. And how about this quote here from Paul McGinley? He certainly didn't have the pointy elbows the way we saw him coming into the Masters. His eyes weren't alive. The energy was not there. He was a man on a mission at the Masters. He was a man with a bounce. He was a man out to prove something. Get out of my way, here I come. I've got something to accomplish. You could see that and feel the energy. You don't see that at the moment. I know from my own experience, when you win in tournaments, you check out Paul McGinley about Rory McIlroy's body language.
Well, Paul McGinley speaks a lot about Rory McIlroy.
He does, John.
He's living rent-free.
He speaks a lot about him. That's probably the best way I can put it. And Rory McIlroy has just won the career Grand Slam. So if Rory McIlroy disappears from the major scene for a while, I mean, Rory McIlroy's record at the US Open is absolutely fantastic. Second the last 2 years. In the last 6 years, he's been in the 6 top 10s in a row. But yeah, it's just hard. I mean, the kernel of what McGinley is saying is correct, but he does talk a lot about Rory McIlroy. I suppose that's his job.
12:40 p.m. today, Irish time. Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, and Justin Rose all teeing off together. John, who's your shout for this overall?
Well, I always I think one of the lessons of going south on McIlroy after the first day at Augusta was to be stupid enough not to keep the faith after saying last year that he'd win 2 majors. So I always going to go for Patrick Cantlay. So that's people would just ridicule me for that. But Patrick Cantlay has been in the top 15 in the last 4 US Open starts he's had. He was tied 12th in his last start of the Memorial. He's 8 PGA Tour wins. He's 33-1. He was tied third last year. He was the third player in the Bryce and Rory battle. I think at 33-1, he might be worth €1 each way because he's got the patience and he's got the mentality, I think, to hang around, which is what you need to do. Like a lot of players, I mean, John Rahm, to me, I don't think Liv is testing him in the best way he could be tested.
He's in okay form, though, is he?
Yeah, top 10 of the PGA, but hasn't won on Liv this year. When you look at Joaquin Niemann, the Chilean, he's won 4 times on Liv. But like you see, like players like Cameron Smith that's just fallen off a cliff.
Oh yeah.
Ludwig Oberg, he's got the disposition, he's got the I suppose the mentality and the calmness to plot his way around Oakmont. Ludwig Oberg. Just looking at the others, Justin Thomas, 2 major titles, but only 2 top 10s in US Opens. Xander Schauffele has only had 1 top 10 this year. Colin Morikawa was tied 50th of the US PGA, tied 20th of the Memorial. Is that a bit of a negative for him? Tommy Fleetwood, probably seen as maybe the best English challenger this week, 34 years of age, 9 appearances at the US Open, 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s on the PGA Tour this year. Sepp Straka is playing well. The Austrian Keegan Bradley, the US Ryder Cup captain, is playing well off the tee. So it's going to be an interesting few days, and there'll always be players I probably haven't mentioned that will be there or thereabouts. But look, it's about Scotty, it's about Rory, it's about Bryson, and then it's about what are the supporting actors around those 3 that can maybe do something, and hopefully Shane and Rory will be there or thereabouts.
And we're mere hours away from the start of the US Open. John Duggan, thank you very much. OTB breakfast at UPMC Orthopedic Care. When things don't move, rotate, or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in